Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I just want to say welcome to all of my new subscribers. I got a lot of new subscribers over the past couple of weeks, so welcome to everybody. So for my card today, I'm starting with a piece of Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock, and I am just adding some lines of these gelatos. I have blueberry, boysenberry, and silver ice. And they're kind of like a crayon is how I would describe the texture when you open up the cap. And it doesn't look very pretty right now, but these do blend with water, so you'll see in a minute how that will change. But I'm just creating a pattern. I'm going with the lines kind of in order and just messily adding those lines on there, if that's a word. It doesn't, you don't have to be perfect or anything with this because when we blend them, they will kind of change a little bit. So you're basically just adding the color onto there. So you can see the texture because of the watercolor cardstock, but like I said, that is going to change. I'm going to spritz this with some water from my mini mister, just a few squirts. You can always add more if you need it, but you cannot take away that water very easily. And then I'm using a paintbrush. This one comes with the set that I bought, but you can use any paintbrush. It will work the same. But you can see when I rub that over with that water how the color blends out, and it's no longer, it doesn't have that textured look like it did before. So you can do this as little or as much as you want. If you really want to blend it to make the lines not there, you can keep on blending, but I really like how these look, and they're super easy to use. If you're beginning card making and kind of want that watercolored look like this, it is really easy to use these. So I'm just adding a little bit more water because I have a cup of water off to the side. So I'm just using that to blend it, and then I let this dry completely. You can also dry it with your heat tool. So next I'm taking the medium dot stencil from Simon Says Stamp and laying that right over the top of my watercolor piece. I'll secure it into place with some washi tape because I don't want it to move. And I'm going to add some white embossing paste to this. So it's like kind of like a frosting texture is what embossing paste is like. I have my palette knife, and I'll go ahead and scoop up a little bit. You don't need very much of this stuff. You always want to start with less than you need. So I'm just working that all over my stencil and making sure that it's completely covered, and then scraping off the excess kind of as I work along. And this, with the gelatos, the embossing paste didn't tint or anything like that. If you do put embossing paste on top of, say, like distress inks, sometimes that color will pick up and your embossing paste will turn whatever color your distress ink was, but it didn't do that with the gelatos, so it stayed white. And then again, I let that dry completely, and while that was drying, I went ahead and stamped my image. I have this stamp from the Alleyway Stamps, and I am choosing this larger kind of monster image. And I'm stamping this with my Tuxedo Black Memento ink on a piece of Coordinations 110-pound cardstock. And then before I started coloring that in, I went ahead and dried that with my heat tool. I just wanted to make sure that the ink was completely dried because sometimes otherwise it smears with the Copic markers. So next I'm just coloring this in with my Copic markers, doing some really simple coloring. I'm starting with the Y13, which is a really light yellow. And I chose this color to go against the blue background since one's a warm and one's a cool color, so they kind of go together well. They're complementary colors. And then I colored in the bottom with the Y15, and then adding a little bit more shading with the Y17, which is the next darkest color. And then I went back in with the Y13 and blended all of those colors together. Alright, and then I'm going to add a little bit of blue to this little guy. So I have the B00, and I'm adding that to the horn, the nose, and his feet. And then a little bit of shading I'm going to add with the B02. And then again, I am just blending those together with the B00, and then I went ahead and fussy cut this image out. I left a white border around the edge of it. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble my card. I am starting by adding adhesive to the back of my gelato and embossing paste piece, and I'm adding that to a white A2 size card base. And then I cut a circle using my Spellbinder circle. It's just out of white cardstock, and this is going to be the backing for my monster. So I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to that and then put that right in the center of my card base. Then I can go ahead and adhere my little monster down. So I'm kind of just setting that into place because I also die cut this Thanks from Lawn Fawn. It's the Scripty Thanks die. So before I adhere that down, I just want to see where that Thanks is going to go. And then I am putting a little bit of ATG adhesive on the back of the monster as well. And I'm going to push that down. And then to adhere the Thanks die cut, I'm just using my multi-matte medium and putting little dots of that all over the back of the die cut. I don't cover it completely because it is a really strong adhesive, so a little bit does go a long way, but you could easily cover that as much as you want, or you could use a sticker maker so that it's completely covered and it's a lot easier to kind of handle. So then I'll go ahead and place that down right below the monster. And then the last step, I am adding some glossy accents to my Thanks die cut. This is just going to make it pop a little bit more on the card, and it's going to have that glossy look to it. It just adds an extra touch and really kind of completes the card and brings it together. And then, like always, all of the supplies I used on this card will be linked below if you're interested in any of them. And then once I've finished up adding that glossy accents, I'm going to let that dry completely. You don't want to mail it or anything like that because otherwise it will get a little bit messed up in the mail. And I usually let mine stay overnight just to make sure that it's all completely dried. And then that is my finished card for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Bye!